What is up, my fellow mobile gamers? In today's video, we got our best guide for Void Rift Normal, the final boss. Like and subscribe for that. Went ahead and recorded this on my tablet, so I got it in the screen recorder mode. This is the final boss we face, is this guy. What is his name? Torodor, I think is how you say it. The game gives you a little bit of a brief on guides, like what you can kind of expect. I'm gonna go walk you through exactly the game mechanics of the enemies, as well as what I did to go ahead and complete this. Now, I would like to think that this particular level isn't as bad or as hard as I think it seems. Once you get the game mechanics down, it's fairly easy. Recommended heroes, we have our 3 ranged melee heroes as well as 2 defenders. Now, this is the lineup that I went ahead and used. I really only put down, I think, like 1 tank. The rest of the characters I put down were mostly fighters. So the first time I did this, I actually failed because I didn't know the layout of where the enemies were coming. But after I failed the first time, then I went ahead and I figured it out. It was fairly simple. So my first start is I put my abomination fighter at the bottom, and then what I went ahead and did is I put a healer here just to keep them alive. The other thing is you could put like a tank here or a tank here and then put a ranged melee fighter. But the beginning is fairly easy. These enemies just kind of come down. They really don't do a lot of damage, so there wasn't anything crazy. I did go ahead and I did drop one of my damage dealers in this platform, and then I believe later on I dismissed her. And then I went ahead and I dropped my vortex at the top. The boss spawns out of this red portal right here, and he comes down and kind of loops around. So I put my healer up there, and then abomination is doing fine. But you'll see at the top we have instance where now we're having enemies spawn at that top. So I went ahead and I dropped down my Zilla2 at the top, another fighter, just to go ahead and deal damage. And then we don't really have to necessarily worry about having a tank in front of her because our healer Vortex is just going to keep healing them up. We'll see that we go ahead and we drop our Valk right here. Now this is where it's very important to watch out because you're going to have enemies come from here, but this is also where the boss comes. And the most important part about this game mechanic is the fact that you need to destroy the boss first in this lane. If you do not put anything here and you let these enemies walk around, when they reach this red glowing orb, this will power up any normal enemies. So if any of these enemies happen to go all the way down this line and hit this, they become super strong, they grow in size, and they're just a bit more of a pain in the butt to destroy. You want to put down a fighter here so that way you can block them from getting to that and then just putting out a lot of damage. That's the first thing that we have to do, is we got to make sure that we put a fighter in this lane, and then we also have a fighter in that lane as well. We still have some more enemies now. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to dismiss Nyx, and now I am dropping my healer Eloin right there so that he can get some healing. And now you'll see that these enemies start coming down. Valkyrie is doing damage to them. And this is pretty much what the main setup is looking like for right now. And we can just kind of fast forward for right now until we go ahead and see the boss spawn. The enemies just continue to kind of randomly drop in. And there we go. This is our first instance of the boss. So we have to destroy him, like I said, in this lane, because what he does is after he's destroyed, he resurrects. He does this insta-kill damage to anyone in front of him. So it doesn't matter if you have a shield, it doesn't matter how high your health is, any character in front of him will get instantly destroyed. And then he places fire on those specific tiles. Once those tiles have fire on them, you cannot place any heroes on them. So if you don't destroy him for a first time in this lane, when he gets to this lane and he does that resurrection, he'll put fire on all of your available platforms to drop your heroes. And then it really is just like, okay, you can't drop any heroes back here because there's no green tiles. You can only drop your heroes like right here, and I think there's one here as well. And if he does that fire, then you're pretty much screwed. So we want to make sure that we have a strong fighter right here. So I have Valk. Valk is going to go ahead and do tons of damage to him and destroy him on his first instance going down this lane. The other thing is, inevitably, he is going to reach that red orb and he goes into this like weird state where he starts summoning monsters at the bottom. It's going to depend on your heroes, how strong your heroes are. I went ahead and I dropped an extra hero, a tank in the back, just in case my Valk did happen to get destroyed. So that way I could just figure out what was going on. Fairly easy to beat. His HP bar is burning down pretty fast. We don't have any enemies coming through the bottom. So at this point, you can really just focus all of your attention on the boss. And he is about to be destroyed. And then you'll see the animation when he is destroyed, he gets resurrected. And then he does that insta kill damage. So I went ahead and I dismissed Isolate because I really didn't need her anymore. I was like, oh, I got this easy. So we went ahead, we destroy him. Now you'll see his HP bars going do 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 do. And now he is resummoned, revived. And this is the one you have to look out for, Mighty Smash. So what I do is I dismiss my Valk because there's no reason not to. Valk would just get insta destroyed if I left her there. You'll see all the heroes that you have in these lanes would be instantly destroyed. And now there is fire. So you cannot place any heroes where that fire is. So he's inevitably going to walk through and he's going to hit that red orb. And then once he goes into that red orb, he does this charging state. So you're just going to kind of have to wait for the charging state to expire. And then he's going to go ahead and then he's going to start the moves. But again, like this is the way that worked for me. And then we can just go ahead and kind of speed this up until the flame fusion was over. Once the flame fusion was over, then he comes walking down, put Valk behind Zillitu for just extra damage. Them two alone are strong enough to take care of him. And then we have Vortex healing. If they do take a significant amount of damage, they get healed up pretty instantly. Again, it's going to depend on your heroes, as always, like a lot of these things. And there's a bunch of different ways that you can kind of complete stuff. But this was the method that I used and it worked for me, mostly because I have very strong fighters. So I'm able to kind of do this play style instead of putting ranged damage dealers. Ranged marksman is really like, I do not have very good ranged marksmen. So for me, a lot of the times I have to kind of improvise and take advantage of my strong fighters. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Stay happy, stay safe, and I'll see y'all later. Peace.